Welcome to Outback Outdoors. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.
We just pulled into Split Rock Ranch a couple of hours ago. Our hunt doesn't start till tomorrow, but we thought we'd take this opportunity to sit up and just glass some of these bottoms. And there are literally hundreds of animals in the bottom here. Antelope, whitetail, mule deer, you name it. They're down here and just everywhere. I think everybody's getting pretty excited. We haven't spotted any big mule deer bucks yet, but hopefully in the morning they'll be up and at them, and we'll be right here waiting for them.
You wait all year for this night. Tomorrow you're gonna have your bow in your hand and you're gonna actually be hunting. And we're here in Wyoming, back on the Split Rock. Shawn Greathouse. Hugh's on his way up to join us tonight, and we're gonna hunt mule deer in the morning. We've already spotted some elk. We got a little bet going, Shawn and I, seeing who can spot the first mature buck.
For a buck.
And so we're gonna sit here on this knob, and we can see a lot of country. And what these elk do and these deer is they just kind of work in from these rocky outcrops toward the ag fields. And that's what we're doing. We're just gonna see what we see tonight, get a feel, make a plan for in the morning.
Hopefully I'll be $1 richer when it's done.
That's right. We're about out of light, and we're gonna head back, make a plan for in the morning. We've seen quite a few critters, some elk, of course, antelope, and some deer. And they're kind of just hanging out right in here. So staying close to the food source. So tomorrow morning, we're gonna make a plan. We're probably gonna head up someplace different. And we've got Justin and Shelley Wampler with us. They're gonna be hunting here. And they're probably gonna make a plan and see what they can do with these critters. And we'll probably head over to another mountain where we know there's some good bucks. So we'll see what tonight holds and what the weather does. If the storm moves in, and make a plan and do something in the morning. Shall we? And there you have it.
So we just had a really good encounter with the deer they call Pitchfork. He came all the way across the pivot here, walked right by this big yellow buck right out here. Just beelined it straight to us. The closest he ever got was about 65, but I couldn't get around the front of the bale. He came around the side and he stopped broadside at 73, but it's just not a safe shot. But we didn't spook him. He walked right back here into the trees, so hopefully he'll come back out tonight.
As you can probably tell, the wind is whipping this morning. It's day one. We're up on a glassing spot and just trying to stay out of the wind. Deer are gonna be tucked pretty tight right now. So we're just trying to pick out an antler or something like that. But the wind has gotta be 30, 40 mile per hour winds. And it's tough. It's tough to hold your glass steady even on a tripod like this. It's tough. But day one, that's what you get when you get Wyoming. You get wind, and we expect it. Perseverance. Just keep trying. Well, these are tough conditions. You wait all year for this morning, and then these 30, 40 mile per hour wind. This is just a situation you have to deal with. I mean, you can't stop this, and regardless of how it makes us feel or how it, beds really lays the bucks up, we just got to be patient and just got to keep glassing and seeing what we can find. I wonder.
Stay persistent.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder if it's going to sit down for this evening. You don't know, but all we can do is keep trying. Well, let's, I think we'll pull off this knob and head regroup, maybe touch base with Q and see how Shelly and Justin did, and make a plan. So.
I'm Quentin with Train to Hunt, and this is your Wilderness Athlete Minute. You guys, let's talk about nutrition. Backcountry nutrition and day-to-day nutrition are gonna look very similar, but you're just gonna have a little bit more calories in the field. This is because you're gonna be sitting in your tree stand or you're gonna be on your feet all day in the backcountry. About 2 or 3 hours into your sit or your walk, whichever one that is, you're gonna want to replenish your body. So what's that look like? You want to have a balance of protein, carbs, and fat in that meal or snack. And you want to make this happen every 3 to 4 hours. Some of you maybe every 2 to 3 hours if you're really burning a lot of calories out there. If you don't do this, your blood sugars are going to drop, you're going to feel tired. If you're in a tree stand, you're going to start feeling sleepy. And that's what happens when a lot of guys and girls out there, they just put like candy bars and those types of things in their pack to eat. So make sure that you're getting a good mix of proteins, carbs, fats. Refuel every 3 to 4 hours, and you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more energy throughout the day, whether you're in the tree stand or in the field. So I hope these tips helped you. If you want more nutrition tips, go to traintohunt.com.
So after getting a lay of the land this morning and driving around kind of figuring a few things out, figuring where not to go and where to go, Trevon and I decided to split up and glass a couple of different spots this evening and see what kind of deer we've got in this area, see if it's worth coming back to tomorrow. So Trevon's back to the west of me a little bit, southwest, and here I'm just kind of checking some of these areas, glassing some of these areas down here, and before we move on up a little higher.
The wind is still howling here this afternoon. And we've actually tucked up into some evergreens. And we're looking over a really nice basin. And we think some bucks are bedding in this black timber. And we're gonna just sit here till this evening and see what we can see. It's hard when the wind is like this. There's not a lot you can do. The animals hunker down, and it makes, once you find them, it makes for decent stalking, but you gotta get in close because you can't shoot very far. So just another difficulty that we're gonna overcome here in Wyoming. We're wrapping up day one here in Wyoming. We're sitting on this ridge glass in this basin, and Shawn's over there, just over this next ridge glass in another basin.
So we just spent the afternoon up in this basin. We've got good news and we got bad news. Good news is there's a lot of elk in this basin. Bad news, not so many deer. Unfortunately, that's what we're after this trip. We've seen 3 deer, and they've all been does.
Shelly and Justin were gonna set up in a makeshift ground blind where a lot of these deer will come back and work into some of the ag fields in the evenings. Hopefully somebody gets on something.
did a few tweaks to the blind over lunch. Made it a little bit bigger, gave ourselves a few more shooting lanes, climbed back in about 3:30, and the deer immediately started moving. It's just crazy. It's warm, it's windy. It's definitely not the type of weather that you typically see deer moving. We've got probably 4 good whitetail shooter bucks in the field, anywhere between probably 200 and 300 yards. They started moving this way, and then they all bedded down in the alfalfa field out here. We're hoping, we're sitting right up over a river bottom, and we think the bucks are bedded on the other side of the river. It's early. We're really hoping to get a big mule deer coming out, but if one of these whitetails gets a little closer, I can't promise anything. So we've been watching 4 or 5 nice shooter whitetail bucks out here, but we just got a call from Quentin that big 2 point that we saw this morning is actually on a field right here next to us. So he's the one that we're after, he's the one that we'd like to get, so we're gonna put a quick stalk on him. We've been watching 4 or 5 nice shooter whitetail bucks out here, but we just got a call from Quentin that big 2 point that we saw this morning is actually on a field right here next to us. So he's the one that we're after, he's the one that we'd like to get, so we're gonna put a quick stalk on him. Oh, please go down. Please go down. Please go down. We've had eyes on this deer for a couple of days. We saw him come out last night. We saw him again this morning, both times kind of on the same path and the same pivot right over here. We didn't have the best setup this morning, but had good eyes on him. We knew we didn't spook him. So we went out at lunch, redid the blind, moved it, set it more where we thought they were coming in and out of the creek bottom. And we climbed in the blind this afternoon and immediately were covered up in whitetail. Good whitetail. But we got eyes on this guy in a completely different pivot, several hundred yards away?
Right. You know, we watched him go in the river this morning, thought we knew where he was bedded, and had a pretty good idea where he'd come back out tonight. So you're set up on him, ready this afternoon, whitetails are coming out, everything's looking good, and all of a sudden he comes out in a totally different
completely different spot.
So.
But we were all set up in that blind ready to go, and Q says we got eyes on him and says you want to put a stalk on him, so we packed up and here we went. I thrilled, so thrilled. Quentin, I couldn't be happier.
Congratulations.
It was the deer I wanted. He's got character. He's awesome.
Congratulations, because he is a super trophy in himself.
Well, tell me a story.
It looks like an elk, but it's a deer.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I appreciate
Nice.
Yeah.
And did he just like he did this morning?
No, not at all. We spent lunchtime recreating the blind. We set up the Taj Mahal with hay bale blinds and watched a bunch of really nice whitetail come out, but then Hugh says he spots this big guy come out on the other pivot, so we climbed out.
Oh, so you went after him? Yeah. Ooh, fun.
There's some good deer down there.
Well, you know, I'm not opposed to shooting a Wyoming whitetail.
Yep.
Not opposed to it.
Not at all.
So, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so stoked. Awesome. Thanks for watching Outback Outdoors. We encourage you to comment below, and as always, like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.